Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world of Aja Pearl. It's my world, and I'm so happy you're here. So, today's visitor is a producer, actor, and director.
Yeah,
Um,
not yet, but I will be.
well, reach for the stars, honey, because you know. Um, please welcome Mr. HB Gibson. How are you doing, King?
I'm well. Thank you so much, Queen.
Oh,
Appreciate it. Hey, that's how we're addressing each other these days.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Right.
That is that is right. Cause we are kings and we are queens,
That's
and
right.
we should and when and the human race should hold each other in a high pedestal.
That's right. That's right.
All
It's
right.
very, very
So
important.
yes, absolutely. So you are from Jersey,
Yes, Newark. Mhm.
born and raised in New Jersey.
Yes.
Oh, we're neighbors. I'm from New York.
Okay. Hey. All right now.
Yeah, Spanish Harlem. Hey.
Hey. Hey, listen. I've had some. I think I've had like one night in Spanish Harlem that was many years ago, and let's just say that I had fun.
Was it around the Puerto Rican festival? Because we just had that recently.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, but let's just say there were some sights to behold.
Well,
So
the Puerto Rican festival is always jumping, and even after the
mm,
festival is over, the party is still jumping.
I know. Unfortunately, I had to go to work right after.
I know.
That's the one thing about art. Like I have what they call the artist killer hours. Like like I work the graveyard shift, but I do it on purpose because I have so many friends that do films, and they've been asking me to be in their films. So I try to leave the day open so that way I could be a part of their projects. And just when I did that, I'm like, okay, I'm available. I do maybe like one or two things, and now all of a sudden, oh, so and so had to stop production for a minute. He got something to do. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's yes. I actually had a visitor named Mo McCoy. I don't know if
Hmm,
you know him,
hmm,
but I'm gonna hook you guys up because you two
hmm.
are he's also into film, but he's on the West Coast.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna definitely make that connection.
Hmm. Cool, cool.
All
All
right, so tell me, have you always wanted to do film?
right. Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I watched a lot of TV. I had a sister that lived in the house, but I was to myself most of the time.
Right.
And I watched a lot of TV. I watched a lot of late night television. I was a big fan of like Johnny Carson and Merv Griffin and Arsenio Hall and Jay Leno and all those guys. And I always wanted to have my own talk show.
Mm.
And and I would watch the actors and the filmmakers. They would come on and they were just being themselves, talking about their work and stuff. And the host of the show would throw some jokes in there and everything, and it'd just be like a nice warm feeling. And I was like, wow, I want to do that. I want to have my own talk show. I want to do film. I want to act. I want to do all these things. But what turned out to be is I really was into not just acting,
Hmm.
but I was also into like doing voices, and that's what I'm currently doing right now. My main forte lately has been voice acting.
Oh,
Eh,
voiceovers.
Yeah, voiceover. Yeah, and it actually, to tell you the truth, it's been taken off a little bit more than my screen acting, and I've been actually been compensated a lot more for voice acting than screen acting. I mean, it's quite a testimony. I hope. Do you have time for it? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
okay,
I also wanted to say, who
yeah.
started off as a voiceover?
Who?
Cree Summer.
Absolutely. I mean, the first time I've ever known about Cree Summer was myself was Freddie from a different world, and
Mm-hmm.
then later on, I was watching a little show called Tiny Toons,
Right.
and uh, the Elmira, which was
Yes.
like the little baby version of like little baby female version of
Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd, and I heard the voice. How did it go? Uh, That's my cute little fuzzy wuzzy buddy. Where's my little fuzzy wuzzy buddy? Hippity hoppity.
Yes. But I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it a little bit further. There was this cartoon called Inspector Gadget. I don't know if you're familiar with
Oh
Inspector Gadget.
yes, yes, Penny.
She played Penny.
Yes,
Yes,
she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I remember.
and she was a kid
Yeah.
back then.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, that it was. That's one of the most memorable voices. I mean, Cree Summer and who is the Don Adams. Don
Yes,
Adams, who played Get Smart, did the voice
right.
of Inspector Gadget. That's a classic cartoon.
Absolutely.
Classic voice acting there.
Um, by the
Oh yeah.
way, if you guys love Inspector Gadget and would love to see it again,
Hmm.
check it out on Tubi.
Oh, it's on Tubi.
Yes.
Wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. And so the testimony that I have, um pardon me, the studio is very hot. I need to start running some AC in here. I think I might have an idea to create an AC. It's what they call a the redneck air conditioner. You know, they got it's the styrofoam cooler, and you put the ice in, and then you put one hole on top for the little fan, and then another hole on top for a PVC pipe. And I'm gonna try that out, because this
That
studio is
sounds like
not that big.
that sound like what MacGyver would create.
Well, I tend to be MacGyver-ish in situations, you
That's
know.
okay.
So I've learned to figure stuff out. But when I was younger, um, I was very bad in school, and I was acting up quite a bit,
Well, you're
and
very candid about that.
my mother put me on punishment for a year.
Oh
Right?
wow.
I couldn't watch TV. There was no video games or anything like that. So, but I told her, I said, Mom, listen, I can't watch TV. I can't do it. Can I at least listen to the radio? Can I play with my tape recorder? Can I create my own shows? Can I be creative at least? And she
Mm,
didn't have a problem with it. So I would make my own little like audio adventure and draw like comic books to go with the audio adventure. I don't know if
mhm.
anybody remembers back in the day that we had something called record players, ladies and gentlemen. We had something called we had something we had the LPs and we had the 45s, and there were these wonderful comic books, these little read along comic books that came with the 45 record, and you would put the 45 record on
Mhm.
there. And the voice actors and the music and everything. I had Batman, I had Superman, I had Spider-Man. um, I had the $6 Million Man. The $6 Million Man one didn't come with a comic book, but it was an audio drama.
Right.
And then like at the beginning, it'll do the intro and everything, and, Batman and Robin, and then the music will come on, and it said, when you hear this sound, boom, turn the page. So
Oh, right.
remember that.
I remember those. I remember those. Yes.
Yeah, so I would do those. I would make my own little comics and everything, my own little stuff. And little did I know that I was actually training myself to do, I did a little bit of radio. I did a little bit of gospel radio, WKMB, Harvest Radio. Pastor Kirkwood, I think, is still the president of the radio, of the station. I haven't spoken to him in a while. I gotta reach out to him. Uh, but I would co-host a show called the Dr. Albert Lewis radio hour. And there were many times where he would allow me to host a show by myself.
Mhm.
And people were, impressed with what I did. And who would have thought that years later, years later, um, I decided to go on ahead and go into voiceover. And my lady and I moved to Atlanta. Um, Unfortunately, she had to keep going back and forth to New York because her father was getting sick with cancer.
Right.
So I was there in the condo by myself, and then I wasn't too happy out there, and I prayed, and I said, God, if anything were to happen where I wind up back up north, if I took my talent of streaming, because I have YouTube channels as well.
Okay.
And I spend so much time editing those things and putting my all into those things. I said, Father, I will take my streaming talent and I will use it for the church if they allow me to. All I ask is that you open up a door for voiceover. Well, God works in funny ways because He must have, he knew that this COVID thing was about to happen, and probably wanted me to go back home. Probably wanted me and my lady to go back home.
Mhm.
Uh, we had a fire at the
Mhm.
condo, but fortunately, our belongings did not get burnt up. Um, when we while she was over in New York, when
Mhm.
I went to work, the insurance guy that was handling our case told her to get in contact with me to get over to the condo right away because they were looting.
Mhm.
So I asked my boss. I said, hey, listen, I got to get home. You know the situation. He said, go on ahead. So I have this little Fiat 500, right? This, little tiny car.
Mhm.
Fortunately, the U-Haul was right across the way from the condominium.
Mhm.
So I drank 2 energy drinks. Let's move. Let's move. I moved everything out within a day, but the only thing that I couldn't move was the larger things like the refrigerator and the washing machine and the big furniture. So I
Mhm.
didn't think people would actually come and break in and actually take those things. But sure enough, they did. They took
Mhm.
the refrigerator, took everything, and it broke my heart. It broke my lady's heart, and we just looked at each other and was like, you know what? We're just gonna go back up north. She can go and stay with her father over New York. I could stay with
Mhm.
my mom and take care of her. Because both of our parents were getting older, and you know we managed to get reimbursed. With the insurance and everything, with the money and
That's
stuff like
good.
that. And also, but before that happened,
Mhm.
I videotaped everything. I videoed
Mhm.
everything, and we put
Mhm.
together a GoFundMe, and all of my friends, all of my family, they raised about like a little over $2,500. It was enough to get us out of the car and into a
Mhm.
hotel room for like about a week or so. I had to
Mhm.
tell my boss, like, listen, we're gonna have to relocate. So they, I transferred from that job over in Atlanta to the same company over in Newark, New Jersey,
Mhm.
and took all the equipment, the microphone. My lady bought the microphone. She believed in me. But I was mad though. When she bought me the microphone over in Atlanta, I was like, I didn't want you to do that. I wanted to try to do it. I'm a man. I want to by myself. But listen, you know that you have somebody great in your life when they're willing to make those sacrifices and be able to do something for you because they believe in you.
Absolutely.
And I said, okay, hon, thank you for the microphone. That's the microphone right here.
Wow.
I said, to my microphone. And I went and I got I said, but listen, let me get my own computer. Let me get everything else. Okay. Let me take care of everything else. She's like, okay, baby, no problem. So I, moved back up to New Jersey. I set up the theater excuse me, a studio right here in the closet. And ever since then, I started doing streaming for the church,
Mhm.
streaming their other services. All of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. I got an audiobook out. I'm on my second video game and my second audiobook.
Nice.
I did like 2 trailers, one for one video game, one I just did one for another video game, and it's just been great. It's just been wonderful, and just to let everybody know that, like, listen, if you make a deal with God, He will he will be sure to make good on his word. You just have to do
He will
what you said you're
provide.
going to do.
He will
So
provide.
he rocked it. He's been rocking. Now I'm I'm hoping to be able to get maybe more work, but but because it's like, it's a little spaced out. But I'm getting ready to, believe it or not, I'm getting ready to go into voiceover training, and there's a
Okay.
really wonderful actress named Tracy Fowl. I've seen her on quite a few films, quite a few television shows, and I'm probably going to be more likely being trained by her. But that's my testimony, and I'm looking forward to the other video game coming out. It's a video game called Night at the Gates of Hell. It's a zombie horror game. It's an independent. It's an indie game. It's like it uses the old school PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 graphics.
Okay.
But the games that they make they have such great stories, and they're scary too. You don't want to play these things at night, but so they're fun. They're a lot of fun, and the people on YouTube, all the video gamers on YouTube have been playing the games. I did a game called Blood Wash.
Okay.
That was my very first video game, and it was just because me and my lady, we love watching this guy named Markiplier.
Okay.
He plays his specialty is to play, scary video games. And I always said, like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I was in a video game and he was playing it, and like millions of people watch these guys play games. Millions of people. They get like millions of views. So I'm looking, and there's literally like hundreds of gamers that have played Blood Wash. Millions of people have heard my voice and my name in the credits, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Amazing.
So that's my testimony, and it's just gonna get better from here.
That is
So
super cool how
yeah,
you like destiny put voiceover into your path,
yeah,
and you excelled in it.
yeah,
And 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 yes, you do very well in it. And like I said, Cree Summer has been
yeah,
doing voiceovers since the 80s.
yeah, yeah.
um who else has been doing voiceovers? Tress McNell.
Mhm.
Tress McNell was also on Tiny Toons, and she played Babs Bunny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yes, yes.
and there's like a plethora of actors and
Mhm.
actresses that have done voiceovers, and they have that distinctive voice, like, oh, that's that person, because you know
Yeah.
them. You like, and if they do voiceovers for a cartoon, it's like, oh, she played dot 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 dot, or he played
Mhm.
dot 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 dot. And
Yeah.
another voiceover, I know I'm saying like all women, but E.G. Daily.
Oh my God. I used to, hey, listen, I know about E.G. Daily way back. Okay, let's see how old we are here. All right. Let's see how old we are here. There was a TV show that used to come on public PBS channel 13 called The Righteous Apples. And it was a band, of kids,
Hmm.
and she was in it. I love me some E.G. Daily. When I
I
was a
think
kid, when I
she
was
has
coming
the
up,
cutest voice. She has
yeah.
the cutest voice. She played
Mm,
Tommy. She
mm.
played she was and she I just know she played Tommy in Rugrats.
And
She was
Rugrats, yes.
um there was another woman who played the voiceover. She played Chucky
Hmm.
in Rugrats, and she was on Real Monsters as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember her name, but
Her name it escapes me too.
but I know her name as well. And
Now,
she was also she played, I don't know if you're familiar with the show called Salute Your Shorts
I'm
on
sorry.
Nickelodeon. It's called Salute Your Short.
Salute your shorts. Ah, wow.
It's
It's
on
been a long
Nickelodeon.
time.
It
Oh
was on
my gosh.
Nickelodeon.
Oh
It took
wow,
place
Nickelodeon. Yeah.
it took place on a camp,
Mm,
in a sleepover camp,
mm.
and she played the camp counselor's girlfriend. So I mean, so if you're starting off as a voiceover, I feel that the voiceover is like a stepping stone to being an actor.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because I had the pleasure of seeing a panel um, with another voice actor named Phil Lamar.
Oh
Phil,
yeah,
yeah, Phil Lamar has. I mean, I remember Phil Lamar in the beginning. Was Mad TV,
me too.
and then even before that, he was the guy that unfortunately got killed in Pulp Fiction. Um, and but he's done so many voices. He's done so many voices that I didn't even know he did. Um, he did Samurai Jack. He did Static. I had no clue that he actually did the voice of Aquaman um, in a couple of DC films
Oh wow.
and in a couple of DC animated films. So he's done a lot of work. I mean, just it's just been just.
Yeah. It's
I mean, I think the only other guy, the classic, if you go back uh, to the original Looney Tunes, the man,
no blank.
Mr. Mel Blanc.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he was the man of a thousand voices.
Rest in peace, no blank.
Yes. Oh,
He
absolutely.
he was the
And
voice of Bugs Bunny as well.
mhm. And there was one, and there was one guy who, I mean, his voice was just unmistakable. Uh, I kind of, he was like actually one of my little personal favorites, and that was, ladies and gentlemen, Casey Kasem.
Oh my God. Yes.
That's keep
Yes.
keep your feet on the
Casey
ground
Kasem
and keep
was
reaching
the
for the
man.
stars.
He was the man.
He
You
did
knew
the
it was
he
Casey Kasem because Casey Kasem had that distinctive voice.
yeah, and he did America's Top 10, and at the end he would go, "That's all for today on America's Top 10. I'm Casey Kasem. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars." So that was my man. That was
Oh,
my
he was the
man.
man.
Yeah, did
He was the man.
Shaggy. He did the Autobot Cliff Jumper.
Hmm.
He did Alexander from what was it Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes.
You know, and I already said
That's my
Shaggy.
son's
So
name, by the way.
huh?
That's my son's name, by the way, Alexander.
Oh, okay. Hey, Alexander, what's up? What's happening?
Shout out to Alexander.
Shout out to Alexander. No, you know what? How old is your son?
Huh?
How old is your son?
He's 19.
Oh, he's 19. Oh, okay. All right. So he probably wouldn't know. Of course, he would probably know Optimus Prime.
Well, well, I, well. When he was little, we used to look at Cartoon Network. So of course, Cartoon Network had like the old school cartoons. I introduced him to Josie and the Pussycats. I
Yeah.
introduced him to Banana Splits. We would sing the Banana Split theme song. So I introduced him to Banana
uh,
Splits.
oh wow.
Yes.
Oh my God. Uh oh.
Yeah.
And what they did with Banana Splits recently.
What
Did
did
you
it
see what
do?
did you see what they did with Banana Splits recently?
No.
Okay. Well, let's go back a little bit first.
Mhm.
There's a little horror video game called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Mhm.
All right. Five Nights at Freddy's. In the game, you play a security guard who has access to all these security cams, and you're assigned to a family funplex, which is kind of like Chuck E. Cheese,
Okay.
and there's these animatronic characters like there's Freddy Fazbear, there's Chica who's a bird,
Mhm.
there's there's a bunny, there's all these animatronics, and the high tech animatronics, they don't just stay in one place; they walk around.
Okay.
So you're in this building, and it's been shut down because one of the machines attacked and killed a kid.
Oh dear God.
So what you're assigned to do is to just guard the building, protect yourself because they'll start walking around, And
Mm-hmm.
if they see you, they're going to think that you're an endoskeleton without a skin and try to stuff you in one of the suits. And
Oh,
you don't want that. So later on, so what does that have to do with the banana splits, you might ask? I'm glad you asked. Well, there
I'm
have been
wondering.
there have been so many people that have been wanting to do a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but they can never get the rights to it because the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, really keeps it kind of close to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, well, someone got the bright idea of taking the banana splits and making them into, let's just say, murderous animatronics.
No.
Yes, they did.
No.
Yes, they did. When they found it,
Why?
here it is. Here it is. When they found it was like, and they had all the banana splits were basically animatronic robots that performed for kids
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And they have artificial intelligence. They understood stuff. So when they found out that the show was being canceled and they were going to be dismembered,
Mm-hmm.
they went on a murder spree.
Oh my God.
So yeah, Bingo, Fleagle, Drooper, Snorky, are running around killing people.
Oh
Yes, they
no,
are.
no, no.
Yes, they
Oh,
are. Yes, they are.
oh no.
Look it up. The Banana Splits.
I,
The
I, I,
Banana
I'm
Splits
scared to look it
movie.
up. I want to like preserve the memory of what how I remember them being
Mm,
just playing music and just having fun and like I want to preserve the memory of them playing at the
mm,
amusement park or
I know.
I want to preserve that memory.
So
But
so
uh,
so when so when you hear one banana, two banana, three banana, four, you're gonna hear it in a whole new light.
oh
Trust
no,
me. When next time when you hear that song, when you see that movie and you hear that song again, it's gonna be pretty sinister to you.
yeah. Like I said, I want to preserve the memory of how I remember them.
There you go.
If I see
There you go.
if I see this, it's just gonna destroy. No.
Oh, they're destroying everybody's childhood now because the rights of Winnie the Pooh went from Disney and it's now up for grabs, and they're getting ready to do a Winnie the Pooh horror movie now. Oh
What?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's funny though because Winnie the Pooh.
Mm,
Um. Okay, so because Winnie the Pooh is actually a story from the UK.
yes.
So
Yes.
so did Disney buy this story from the UK?
Apparently they did, and they had rights to it. But now that like the rights is up for grabs, um, anybody could do a Winnie the Pooh film right about now. And apparently these horror directors got a hold of it, and yeah,
Oh my
I only saw photos of it. I only saw pictures of it. Like
the
like like like
horror.
like like production stills.
The horror.
Oh, the horror! I know, right?
I, mm, oh goodness gracious,
Mm.
like oh
it's
goodness.
it's nuts. I mean, nothing is sacred anymore.
Nothing. I mean I'm like I'm guessing you're Generation X, right? What year were you born?
I was born in 1970, April the
Oh, so
8th,
you're definitely
1970.
Generation X.
Yeah. Oh
You're
yeah.
definitely Generation X. So I'm like, I mean, I just think of all the cartoons I used to watch when I was little, and I'm like,
Mm,
and then you're telling me like, because I remember looking at the Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I remember
mm,
looking at that. Um,
mm,
I even had the Winnie the Pooh books. Like I had the Disney books. I had the Rescuers. I had Cinderella. I
mm.
had Winnie the Pooh. I had Bambi, and I'm like, ah,
And Winnie the Pooh, all he was just trying to do was just try to understand people in life. That's all he
yeah.
was trying to do
While getting that honey.
while trying to get that honey. Yep, that's right.
I, I I wonder if somebody actually did like try to analyze Winnie the Pooh and I
Hmm. And found some kind of dark secret or something like that. Hey,
yeah.
listen. A lot of the come to find out that a lot of the stories that Disney animated, years ago, like Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella,
Hmm.
Hansel and Gretel. A lot of those stories are really actually extremely morbid.
They are.
Come to find out, I read about Cinderella, that the the sisters so wicked, they wanted to have the glass slipper fit their feet so badly that they
Hmm.
were actually, like, mutilating their foot in order to fit into the shoe.
Holy crap.
Oh yeah. The the whole Sleeping Beauty thing. I'm gonna let everybody out there do your homework.
Yeah.
Learn about Snow White.
Hmm.
Learn about Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, the actual real deal
Yeah.
about them. It's a lot darker than how it was presented in Disney. A lot darker.
Well, I
Mhm.
I heard on like this guy was talking about Peter Pan,
Uh-huh.
and he was saying that the Grimm's brothers version was
Brothers Grimm.
completely different. Like you hear like he basically said that Peter Pan was the bad guy and
Mm.
Captain Hook was the good guy.
Hmm.
Captain Hook and his crew were the used to be the boys they used to be the Lost Boys, but they escaped Peter Pan and
Hmm.
became this crew with Captain Hook.
Right. Right.
So and then you're like, well, and it makes you think like, well, why is Peter Pan always fighting Captain Hook, and Captain Hook never goes after the Lost Boys? And I'm like,
Mm.
oh wow. And then I thought about Wendy, and
Mm.
oh my god, like what have like could you imagine what their plans were for Wendy?
Uh,
I mean, it's crazy. Like and if you think about it, Peter Pan was probably one of those people that looked young but was
right.
actually a full grown adult. So
Well, we kind of found that out recently on a Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie. If you haven't seen it, check it
really.
out. Because oh yeah, oh the cartoon business. You learn about you learn about show business through the eyes of the cartoon characters themselves.
Hmm.
Like Chip and Dale. Chip stayed 2D, and Dale apparently got the 3D surgery. So
Oh,
so
oh yeah, I seen the trailer. Yeah.
oh, please do watch it. It is actually very good. It was actually a brilliant piece of work. It really is.
Um, what else? Oh, and because see, I think of Disney as the devil after they romanticize Pocahontas. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, okay. First of all, this is a you romanticize the sexual assault of a little girl with this colonizer.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
First of all, Pocahontas wasn't even her real name.
That's
Let's
right.
get that straight.
That's right.
And then they and then her father was saying that we're gonna take her back to Britain and blah 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 and we'll
Mhm.
bring her back. They never brought her back, and
Right.
they changed her name to Rebecca over there. And I'm like, how dare you, Disney? How dare you?
Well, Disney has a way of taking things and processing them
And
and turning
fluffing
it
it
in,
up.
and fluffing it up, and turning it into something less than what it should have been.
Hmm.
You know.
And there's some sexual innuendos in there too, like in the Little Mermaid.
Right.
Like if
Right.
you don't see it, the priest, the priest has a
Mm.
heart on.
Wow.
Yes. And
You know,
then
I never noticed it.
yeah, and then like in the castle, the castle, there's a picture of an actual
Okay.
dildo.
Oh wow. What in the
Yeah,
film
if
is
you
it?
look at it very very carefully.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm like,
Whoa.
wow, Disney, wow. And the first time I saw The Little Mermaid, I was 10 years old. So of course, my 10-year-old mind ain't even thinking about this.
I bet you if I tried to look for it now, I think Disney probably would have erased it or something like that because it's a, you know, they've done a lot of surgery on their films lately.
Hmm.
You know, like changing things around. Like even in Lilo and Stitch, there was a a scene where Lilo was looking in an oven for something. They changed it and they turned it into some kind of a cupboard or something like that. Um, they even and this is not fair, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, how is it that we have all these? You know, we have we have the an X-Men film
Hmm.
where we see Wolverine's full on naked behind, but you guys are gonna go and CGI some extra long hair on Daryl Hannah
Yeah,
in the Splash movie,
yeah.
covering her up. Come on.
I guess they figure, well, Daryl Hannah is a woman, so let's cover her up because we don't want the women's lib on our asses. So,
Yeah,
but let's show Wolverine in his whole in its entire nudity.
yeah, exactly. Listen. Amber Heard technically lost that one. Y'all not getting away with nothing no more,
That's
y'all.
right. That's
All
right.
right.
Mhm. Mhm. You
Y'all
want
wanted
that?
equal rights. There you go, cause y'all
There
can
you go.
get it
There
too.
you go. That was a
Y'all,
freaking that
y'all,
that trial was a saga. I'm like, sheesh.
y'all can lose in court too, buddy. All right.
Mhm. But and I'm glad that they wasn't biased about it.
No, they
I'm
weren't.
glad
They
I'm
weren't.
glad they saw, Johnny Depp is getting abused by this woman.
Yeah.
And they didn't like bash him. They didn't bash him because he was a man, because he was a
Right.
man. He
Right.
didn't say, well, why are you letting this woman like abuse you? They didn't say that. And then take um her side because she's a woman. I'm glad it wasn't a biased thing.
Right. They took everything into consideration equally.
Right.
I mean, there was like, look, this is a case. This person was assaulted. Let's talk about the assault. What happened to you? You know, well, hey, he got assaulted by her. You know, this, that, and the third. You know, he just did a whole lot of despicable things and said a lot of despicable things. And
Right.
let's take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And you know, this it wasn't like, oh well, she said that you hit her. You're a man. You're guilty. Case closed. No, they just went. They went into every detail.
Yeah. And I'm glad
Yeah,
they did.
yeah. Because there's a lot of fellas that have been put in prison and locked up and had the court not go in their favor just simply because they were going up against a female and she had a story and they believed it.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's
it's
sad.
crazy.
It's sad.
Mhm.
And it's also sad when a woman um cries rape when she was never raped.
There you go. That's a horrible thing because
It is horrible.
because that act is despicable on its own, and then you're going to go and falsely accuse someone of doing such a despicable crime, you know, and place that on that person. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know, you don't. People ain't getting away with it no more.
Yeah, that's
There you
right.
go.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really is. I mean, look, I am all about equality, but
Oh yeah,
abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse. Okay,
absolutely, absolutely.
I don't want to hear Like, okay, you want to know who's on the next chopping block? Will Smith and Jada Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Well, you know what? I cannot read that. I mean, the first thing people would think is like, okay, Jada has this, uh, you just could not take the girl out of the hood at
Yeah.
all. And here it is, you got this nice guy from Philly that's trying to give you the world, and you keep testing his chest, testing his chest, testing his chest,
Mhm.
and then that moment happened where I guess Will felt as if that he had to thug out,
Mhm.
to show his woman that he can be a thug too.
Mhm.
But and he went and he just did, you know, back in the day, like if somebody said something messed up about you, like in that particular situation, or if a joke was made, you know, you could sit, you just sat there and gave them the mean mug, and you approached them later.
Right.
Approach them later. Don't do it all in front of everybody.
Mhm.
I wish he hadn't have done that, but he was, I guess, under that. I guess I got to prove myself because my wife is hood
Yeah.
and she likes hood.
I mean,
So I got to
she
prove
was with
myself to be
Tupac. She
hood.
dated Tupac, so
Yeah, well, hey, there you go. So no. Listen. God bless Tupac. Tupac was a poet.
he was.
He was a modern day poet.
He was.
But when you have someone that is used to a certain type of uh, uh, environment, and they don't get that environment out of their system, that's and you're going to go and get married to that person that still has that environment in their system. Look, expect to be, challenged,
Right.
I say. So there you go. But I digress.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Well, but yeah. Good luck with good luck to them. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
uh, I don't know. So okay. So have you done any acting in any films or anything like that?
I got my start. My very very first professional acting gig was it was I did a lot of plays. I did a lot of local plays. I worked with a theater group called Phoenix Ensemble over in Newark, New Jersey, and I did something called "They Sing Christmas Up in Harlem,"
Mm.
the Lenox Avenue Christmas Carol,
Oh,
and
oh, that sounds interesting.
that was yeah, it was basically a black Christmas Carol. So instead of Ebenezer Scrooge, the character's name was Ebenezer Scratch, and I played his cousin,
Uh
and I
huh.
also played the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Okay.
And it was a it was a Harlem, very very black uh, Christmas Carol. After that, when that did well, we we did our own production of a soldier's play,
Okay.
and I played CJ Memphis. Now, CJ
Okay.
Memphis, traditionally, CJ Memphis is usually played by is usually cast as a tall, dark skinned brother, and here it is, this short light skinned brother is playing. But see the thing is, but see here's this is usually the roles that I get. I usually get the roles that nobody else wants, right? because because I had to if you've seen a soldier's play or seen a soldier's story,
Mhm.
CJ Memphis was a blues musician.
Okay.
So and I've had some 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 guitar experience,
Mhm.
but when I found out that I landed the role, they wasn't giving it to nobody else because they couldn't find nobody else to sing and play a guitar. So I went and I actually got a book called the House of Blues, Blues Level One, and it had two discs. It had a disc that had backing tracks on it where you could play guitar over the tracks,
Mhm.
and it had a DVD that showed you, you know, how to play, you know, basic blues.
Mhm.
And I could sing, you know, a little bit, and I tried hard not to watch the movie because up to that point I never saw the movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Soldier Story with Denzel Washington.
Right.
I never saw the. Man, I had to watch the movie because I needed to know how the damn song went. So when I walked in there, yeah, I learned it. I learned the chords, and you know, playing blues is very simple. It's very simple.
Right.
I didn't know it was that simple. You know, you get your, you know, your basic chords, and I walked in there and I got up on stage during rehearsal, and I was like, "Dude, got a bright red root suit, dude, and a pair of patent leather shoes, dude, and I know my baby be waiting for the day she'll hear the news, Lord, 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 Lord." And I sounded a lot better at that time,
Yeah.
but everybody was like, "Wow," you know. But my trust me, my singing was a lot better then. I'm in a hot studio, didn't drink any water, so that's the reason why I sound like a hot mess. So, but nobody else could sing and play at that time, so that's what I did, and it was a hit with the audience. They loved it,
Yay.
and they could, you know, every time when we did rehearsals, they couldn't wait for that part. They had fun. So, but that was my first play. And I did a whole bunch of other plays after that.
Okay.
I went on tour for 2 weeks with Christopher Williams, believe it or not.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, Christopher Williams and Allison Williams and a comedian named Freddie Ricks. And the name of the play was called oh damn, what was the name of the play? Tell Hell I Ain't Coming.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a faith based play, and I played I played a drunk, but I asked him. I said, "Listen, can I change the the voice? Can I like change the accent? Could I be a Spanish drunk? Could I be like a Hispanic drunk? You know?" That's, and there was a scene where it was all about a preacher that died, and God allowed him to go to hell so that he could experience hell, so that when he comes back to life, he could tell people to warn people about hell.
Oh.
And there was all different types of people in hell. You know, there were, you know, liars, cheaters, people that didn't believe, and I played the drunkard. And when it, you know, all the different characters would pop up. Like, you know, there was one that was a prostitute that just gave her body and everything, and she died of AIDS and everything, that she disappeared. And then there was a one woman who thought that she was so saved, but she wasn't really. She was just playing that she was saved,
Right.
and then she disappeared. And then what did I call my character? I think they didn't address the characters by name, but I called my character Enrique, right? So then when my character came in, so he represented the drunkard, you know,
Okay.
the person who's an alcoholic. And I
Mhm.
walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, my man, you got that Jack Daniel? You got that Budweiser?"
Wow.
So you know, I threw on the accent, and then they also gave me another role of Gabriel,
Mhm.
and there was a scene where I was being sent by God to go down and get the pastor out because it was time for him to come back. And I put on the I put on. I don't know if you're familiar with a with an action actor named Jason Statham. He was
Thanks.
the is it
Yes. Yes.
Statham?
Yes.
Statham.
Yes.
So Michael the Archangel was played by Freddie Ricks,
Okay.
and he had like this Jamaican accent. And
Oh wow.
I'm walking past him, and he's going, "Hey, well on, where are you going there now?" And I go,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Hey, where are you going there, why?" Where you, where you headed? And then I had to put on the voice. I'm going. I said, oh, yeah, the pastor's name is Allgood. I said, I got go get Pastor Allgood. And it was like, I said, so well, what do you mean you're gonna go down there and get Pastor Allgood? Him down there and here. Wait a minute, you're gonna go down there? I said, yes, right. I'm going down there, way down there. You know, the place where you go in but you can't get out. So now, wait, hold on, now, man. When somebody go to hell, they don't come back. I said, well, you know how God, just when you think you've gotten all figured out, he surprises you and does something new. Now let's go get him. So those are the voices. You know, I do all kinds of voices.
I'm telling you, if perfect your British accent a little more, and I'm sure somebody at BBC America will pick you up. Not
Oh yeah,
BBC
yeah,
America, but BBC. They will
yeah.
definitely pick you up.
I haven't put on an accent in a long time, and a lot of the stuff that I've done recently hasn't really required me to do an accent. And that's the reason why I'm going into the training. So but yeah, I mean, I can the one voice that I could never get and I can't get and I don't think I'll ever get is Idris Elba's voice. It's just an original voice that I don't think I will ever be able to get. I mean, you would have to be a really really talented impersonator
Yeah.
to do Idris Elba's voice. I won't even try. So so, but
I, I
that yeah.
I've actually like played around with this character.
Mm,
Um, she's an old lady,
mm,
and her name is Calpurnia Stratford.
mm,
Calpurnia.
mm,
I told my boyfriend this character. He looked at me like I was crazy.
mm.
But then again, I'm the crazy one in the relationship because I'm the one with the imagination. So
Right.
so he just rocks with it.
Mm,
So I tell him about Calpurnia Stratford.
mm,
Calpurnia Stratford has a really thick accent, and she
mm,
talks very very deep, like this. Like,
mm.
let's see if I can get her. Hello, it's very hello everyone. I got to perfect it, but she has a very deep voice. Like she has like a managed voice, and she has a very thick New York accent. So
Okay.
so yeah, I'm trying to perfect that. I don't know for what, but it's just this character that popped into my head, Calpurnia Stratford.
Okay.
So
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
that's all. I did mostly plays, and then I started going into film, like a bunch of independent films. So the latest thing that I did is a fan series called Combat in the Grid.
Oh,
It's Power Rangers versus Mortal Kombat, and I play Shang Tsung, and I also play Zordon. And
oh okay.
you can see it on YouTube right now. It's Combat in the Grid. And I recently started going back to another series it's a sci-fi series called Body Jumpers, where I play an alien agent named Darius, Agent Darius. He's from a planet called Euclid 6, and he's a part of an organization called the IDA, the Interplanetary Department of Agents. It's like the U.S. Marshals, but in space. And
Oh.
what he's doing is he's assisting a female superhero named Nova.
Hmm.
Uh, Originally, when the series first started, my partner was a fellow Euclidean, but
Hmm.
the actress is no was
Euclidean.
no yeah yeah the actress was no longer working with us. So the director Alex Fernandez got another actress, but decided to make her a human that happens to find a special suit from my world.
Mhm.
and it actually you know it just happened to work with her DNA, and now she has superpowers, and I'm like helping her out and guiding her, on using the suit and everything. So
Mhm.
we just started going back to that just recently. So there's other films and stuff that I'm a part of that I can't really say just yet because I don't know what the what status the film is in, because I mean, like when you're acting and you're doing things with independent filmmakers, the schedule is always very loose.
Mhm.
um Unlike the more professional films where it's like, look, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this, and
Mhm.
we got and the release date is this, and they have everything all planned out down to the letter. But when you have independent people, especially if you're not getting paid, and a lot of the actors have like regular 9 to 5s and everything, and they're not full-time
Mhm.
actors.
Mhm.
So I mean, we could film a great scene one day but not get to the rest of the scenes for like another month or two. So it
Mhm.
happens that way. So that's the reason why I can't really say too much.
Well, okay.
So
Okay. All right. So,
yeah.
do you have any? Do you have a? What's your future in film?
My future in film, well, right now, I guess you could say that I am an associate producer of a couple of films that, like I said, are not done yet.
Mhm.
Um, my lady and I, she's in the process of writing some screenplays right now. Um, some shorts, and
Mhm.
she's like burning through them, just writing uh, scripts like bang 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 one after the other and planning them
Mhm.
out and everything. And then so let's just say that we're in the writing stages going into the pre-production of these films. I mean, I can't really say what they are just yet, but we're like in the process of I'm still just I'm just enjoying myself doing the voiceover, having a great time.
Mhm.
And I'm looking to do more stuff. I can't wait for the game to come out.
Yay!
Night at the Gates of Hell, and also I did a voiceover for a trailer for another video game called Stay Out of the House. There's I do have an audiobook out called Echo Nova Delta,
Nice.
which is actually part two in a series of sci-fi books by Brian McMichael. It tells the story of a guy who who's in an attempt to rescue his wife from a sabotaged space launch.
Mhm.
He winds up going through a wormhole and ending up on another planet, while his wife goes through another wormhole and lands on another planet. So it's the story of him trying to find his wife, and he's being assisted by very, very friendly aliens.
Mhm.
And it also goes back and forth. It flashbacks to when he was a CIA agent. So it's a combination of Star Wars, Avatar, and James Bond with a little
Okay.
bit of Independence Day. It's called Echo Nova Delta.
It sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. The audiobook is available now on Audible. But if you really want to get the full story, I would suggest that everybody check out the Expansion Project. That's
Mhm.
the first one. That was read by somebody else. Echo Nova Delta, the Expansion Project Book 2 is like the Empire Strikes Back of the series.
Okay.
And tonight, hopefully, I can get it done finally. My aunt's audiobook, Exodus. Let me
Yes.
tell you about Exodus. Exodus is a book about a young man who loses his brother to the violence of racial profiling,
Oh.
and hurt by that and torn by that. He proceeds to write a thesis paper his for his for a senior class about what would happen if black people actually did leave the United States.
That's
I mean,
interesting.
he goes and does all the gets does all this research about about us as a people, and being that we're like the biggest consumers in the United States, that if we left and relocated somewhere else, that the that the economy in the United States would just go flat if we're not around to buy anything. The United States will go crazy.
Yeah.
They would lose it. They would
Yeah.
totally lose it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I would liken it to be it's fantasy, it's suspense, it's action, and it has a little bit of sci-fi to it.
Mhm.
It has a I hope I'm not spoiling it too much if I say that there's a dash of Black Panther in it, a little bit. So hopefully, like if it's called Exodus. I
Mhm.
don't know when it's going to be out just yet,
Mhm.
but what I will do is I will reach out to you,
Thank you.
and I will also announce it on my Facebook on HB Gibson. It's
Okay.
called Exodus by B.W. Smith.
All right.
All right, so there it is. Those are the current projects that I'm involved with.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
We're gonna close out
Okay.
now, but before we leave, do you have any parting words for our other visitors?
Do what you like,
Yeah.
and if you have a dream, um, especially if no matter what it costs to achieve that dream. Say like if there's a field that you want to be in, but you may need to get some training, and maybe you don't have the money for the training, or maybe you might not qualify for the funding at the moment. It's okay. There's videos on YouTube. There's books. Fill up your mind and educate yourself on what you can before and start putting those monies aside for the training. But don't give up on your dream just because it appears to be not within your financial reach. You keep going, and most of all, put it in God's hands. If you
Absolutely.
are faithful to him, he will be faithful to you.
Absolutely.
If you heard my testimony earlier, I
Mhm.
made a deal with God. I said, Father, if I have to go back to Jersey, I will use my streaming talent, the talent that I use for my YouTube shows. I got like 2 YouTube channels.
Mhm.
I use that talent for the church. Lord, just open up a door for me to have a successful voiceover career. And so far, he's been faithful on his word. That the monies haven't been like super huge. I still have a full time job um, going on, and I'm
Yeah.
doing this like part time. But I know that everything is in His time. But when
Right.
it rains, it pours. He's going
Right.
to give you a little bit as you go along. If you show yourself faithful, he's not going to put on anything on you that you can't bear.
Right.
So you just be faithful, study. The Bible says to study to show yourself approved.
Mhm.
You gotta try to study, even if you can't afford to go to school. Just do your research,
Right.
whatever you can get. Just do
Right.
your research, get that foundation, so that way when it comes time for you to actually go to school for it and actually be able to do what you do, you're gonna be good. Trust me, you're gonna be great.
Absolutely.
Believe in
Awesome
yourself. Don't
words.
give up.
Awesome words. Awesome
Yep.
words. All right, y'all. That concludes our visit on the world of algebra. I'd like to thank HB Gibson
Thank
for
you.
gracing us with his presence.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Can I
this
close out
is
with something? I want to. I was looking for something, and I don't know if anybody remembers um, Tales from the Dark Side.
I do.
Here we go. Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality, but there is unseen by most an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit. A dark side. The dark side is always there waiting for us to enter, waiting to enter us. Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.
Nice.
There we go.
Oh,
So
well,
much.
that concludes our visit on the world of Aja Pearl. It's my world, and thank you for stopping by. Have a good night.